Well, hello, it's been almost a week, so I wanted to do an update about how my One Book July is going, how my lack of color coding, and just how everything's working out. I've mostly got a similar setup to what I had been using before July started, but the main difference has been the pen and then just a couple other things that are inside. So I've got better lighting, I'm zoomed in more, hopefully that will fix some of the issues with my last video, and let's dive in. So still have just the wallet at the front. That hasn't changed, and so I'm not going to go into all of that. Same setup here. You can watch my last video for a more thorough thing. Still got my monthlies and so my weeklies. So this is how that first week ended up. I added a little bit more color for a couple other color coding things I needed to do, but it's been pretty good with just having all the black ink. There were a couple of times that if anything, it makes me look more carefully, because before I could just glance and say, oh, there's some light blue, I need to do some laundry today, and know that that was what was going on, whereas now I have to actually read it, but that helps in some ways because it reminds me of what all of my to-dos have been. For the next week, I haven't got it planned out yet, but I am planning on doing more of the same, just using the flags, these flags right here. I'm planning on just using those. I'd thought about using, there'd been a suggestion to use the market dots, but I haven't ordered those, and I've spent so much money in the past week just on various things that have come up that I really couldn't justify getting them at this point. So I'm going to keep seeing how this works for me for another week, and if I keep having issues, if I start to have issues, then I'll investigate some other things. Some of the suggestions that y'all have had have been great about doing different marks, different like symbols to mark next to things. My only issue with that is that I don't know that that would help me at a glance to discern. One of the things that I love with my monthlies is that in such a small space, I can just glance and see exactly what's going on. Or when I can look for all of the orange things that mean birthdays, all of the blues for my oldest son, and the dark green for my youngest. It's all just at a glance, I can tell what's going on. And so I'm not sure, again, how the monthly is going to work out when I have to, if I were to keep this going, if I were to stick with just the black pen. Also, I wanted to explain, because some people were confused as to why, other than just doing One Book July, why I was messing with a system that's working for me. And it's working for me, but the main issue is that when I take this on the go, which I do all the time, I need my color coding pens, which would mean I'd need to take my pack of Studlers all the time. And I just don't want to do that. I could invest in a whole nother pack and keep one in my bag, but that takes up space, and I'm trying to come up with a way that I can just stick with the one pen. So that's my other rationale for long term why I wanted to do this challenge and test myself. So, meal planning, this is one change that I have a new folder, still a folder from Annika Hanby, but this is one that I had ordered. It just came in this past week. So I just switched, same stuff inside, I just switched it all out. And still my to-do, and still my list for the words that my youngest is saying. Still doing my not One Book July, my Lister's Got a List July in here. So this was today's. It's worked out better than I had thought, sticking this field notes in there. It's not quite as easy to write in as it was when I had it in my Chic Sparrow Pocket Maverick. Everything was the same size. This does move around a little bit more, but it hasn't been that irritating. And I do like that since I use the Ollie clips and I have this clip right here, it makes it stay open, which is nice when I'm working in it. So still my journal, and still my coupons at the back. So what things I addressed in my last video, things that I was still keeping separate, that I was keeping as a separate notebook, but I didn't address some of the things that I'm discontinuing this month. And one of the big things is my little Gillio Bunker Moleskine Volant size notebook that I was doing my Hyperdex stay-up tracking in. And I decided for this month, my last notebook ran out on June 30th, so it was perfect timing that I was not going to track my time for the month of July. And I've been doing all right with not having that information. It's part of it's, again, because it's summer, and so I'm not having to shuttle the kids around to activities and school quite as much. And also I'm not spending the time to actually write down and keep track of all of it, because that does take some time out of my day every day, to multiple times a day, to keep track and fill in with my colored pencils. But I don't have a reference for how much screen time we're using. And I have track of my kids, of course, but I also try and keep track of mine so I can work on decreasing it. So I've lost that, as well as sleep, to get some kind of an idea of how much I'm sleeping. I don't have a good way to track that right now. So I'm not sure if after July I'm going to start that back up or not, but that's one thing that was in a separate notebook that I have stopped entirely for this month. I got a couple of messages from people asking, because I mentioned in my last video that I was keeping my book Filofax separate. And some people asked, I have a video on that, but they asked if they could get a fresh look, an updated look on how I have that set up. So just quickly, since I was already making a video, I wanted to go through and show, because a couple of things have changed from my original setup video. So I've still got my book-themed, literary-themed dividers that I made. And the first section is still books that I've read in 2015. It's just the names of the books and the author, and then the date that I finished them. I was doing a challenge to myself to read a book a week for 2015, and so 52 books for the year. I had finished my 56th on June 30th, and I've been working. I haven't had as much time to read since the kids have been out of school. I think my oldest has been out of school. So I'm almost finished with my 57th book for the year. So that's all the first section is. The second section, I'm using these inserts that I had Papier My Day make for me, and I will link below her shop. And she had them for the Midori Travelers Notebook, and I had her make them for me for a Filofax personal size. And in my last video, I just had all of my, I can show you, because I have some that I haven't transferred over yet. I just had them filled out based on when I finished them, and so they weren't sorted in any way other than that the order was when I finished them. And I'd mentioned in the video that I really wanted to have them alphabetized somehow, use my A to Z tabs that I had, and figure out a way to sort them. And so I finally just decided to waste the pages that I'd already put all the stuff, filled in the ones for the year thus far, and start again with doing them by the author's last name. Within these, I mean, they're alphabetized in that all the A's are together and all the B's are together, but they're not alphabetized as far as, like, let me see if I can find an example. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, so Marbury comes before Moyes, but in here all the M's are just together. I marked the one that I'm currently reading. This was a Kindle first book that led me to read it. And I just mark it with a paper clip, and just to show quickly how, this is one I finished recently, The Primates of Park Avenue, how the inserts are set up. Title, the author, genre, date published, who recommended it. I saw an article about this in the New York Times. Date started, date finished, my rating, I just fill in the stars, number of pages, and then any notes. So my just musings, reflections on the book. Sometimes I put in favorite quotes. I was not a yes please fan. But yeah, so that is this section, just goes through. So far I only have filled these out for the books as I read them, so it's only for 2015 so far. But I think I may go back and expand and look at, this was my list from 2014, so I may add these. Some of the dates will be a bit harder. I think I have some of the dates in Goodreads, and some of them I may not even remember all of the plots, which sometimes just the note that I don't remember this book is enough of a review of it to say something. So after that, I have my books to read, and I made myself a little key. I got this idea from someone in the Filofaxy Facebook page several months ago, that I made myself a key that I just add the dots at the end of the book at the title. It's pink for if I already own the book, star if the library has a hard copy and an ebook, green, purple star, green dot if they have a hard copy only. I did a star just because I found I couldn't differentiate between the purple and the green. and then read if I had got it from Amazon, like on Kindle first, or if it's available for some of the other situations. So, despite the number of books I read, my to-read list seems to keep growing. I'm on 2.5 pages of it now. So that's that section. The next is left over from when I had this as a creativity binder. So I have some of my favorite poetry, some of my favorite quotes and Bible verses. They're all just stuck into this section. Some of it comes from actual books and some from people and random other things. So that's this section. And at the end, I have the challenge. This was the Pop Sugar 2015 reading challenge. I keep meaning to add some other challenges, like some of those books to read, like 100 books you have to read in your lifetime, those sorts of things, but I haven't added them as of yet. Then just a top-loading envelope, the picture of my family, and a notepad, and Target Dollar Spot pen. And this is a Filofax Urban in Slate, in case you were wondering. And it has this awesome back pocket that I don't really use in this usage of it. So this I'm still using just because this is a pretty detailed and set in stone system I have going on. So I didn't want to mess that up for One Book July. But it's really the only thing that I'm referencing on an ongoing basis that is not in here. So I hope that this was, there wasn't really anything groundbreaking in this update, but I wanted to update it anyway, just to say that I'm still staying strong, still just using my one black pen, and hoping that I can make it through the month and figure out a good system to make this an ongoing thing. So I will check in again probably closer to the end of the month. I'm trying to alternate throughout the week doing one KonMari method video. Usually I'm going to try and post those on Thursdays and then post a planner video on Sunday, maybe a couple extras along the way. I was planning on posting today a updated look at my Travelers Notebook collection or just my planner collection in general, but I'm still waiting on one from Australia that has been over 2 weeks since it shipped. I thought it would be here by now, but it is not. So I'm hoping to post that one, I'm hoping it will come in the next week, in which case look out for that video and other things that I've got in store for you. So thanks so much for watching. I would love it if you give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Just hit subscribe if you want to see more, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.